Okay everyone, so we're going to make this beautiful heart filet crochet top. I'm still working on this one, but I'm going to show you how it's done. So I've got 2 mini yarns here. I've already started with this chain, so what I'm going to explain to you is that each square equals about 1.5 centimeters when it's done, right? Each square is 1.5 centimeters, and using this 3.25 millimeter crochet hook and using the this yarn, the cotton yarn, which is, oh, it's fingering yarn, doesn't really say. Doesn't really say. Let me try this one. Oh, it's 3-ply yarn. All right, so it's 3-ply yarn. So using the same yarn and the hook, you get the same size according to this pattern, 1.5 centimeter square each square. So I'll put all the information on the patterns for each size, and each diagram will have its own size as well. But this is just the large size, just to tell you that each square is 3 stitches. Closed or open, it's 3 stitches, but the opened one is 1 double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, and then 1 double crochet. So just a reminder, this is the large size I'm doing. Obviously it's mine. So what I'm going to do is, I did my calculations and I chained 120, but what I'm going to do is add another 6 chains. So whatever the number is, the foundation chain, just plus 6 plus another 6. Hang on, let me see if I can get, there we go. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So that would be a double crochet and a chain 2, right? So 1 2 double crochet. I'm just putting my hand here 1 2, and we do a double crochet on the next, on that chain. Hang on. 6 7 8. So in the eighth chain from the hook, we do a double crochet, and the plus 6 chains is the turning chain of 1 double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. Okay, so we are going to make these for the large size, the 40 squares right there, which is done here. 40 squares. Okay, the open squares, which is, since we've made double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, 1 2, skip 2, 1 2, and then double crochet in the third one. So that's 2 squares made. Chain 2, skip 2, 1 2, whoop, double crochet in the third, chain 2, whoop, skip 2, 1 2, okay, then chain 2, skip 2, okay, so continue on until you reach the end of the chain here, and I'll meet you back. So just to remind you, the open squares is 1 double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, and 1 double crochet. So we're going to do that for 12 rows. We're going to do this for 12 rows of open crochet. But I'll meet you back once you finished this row. Okay, so I have added some extra chain there. So no worries about that. Even if you had that, it's fine. So just make sure you've got 40 squares. So I've made my 40 squares all the way. Okay, now what we're going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then plus 2 again, which is 5. It's going to equal 5. 1, 2, so 3 plus 2, 5. Turn, and now a double crochet on top of the double crochet. Oh, for crying out loud. Alright, hang on, let me just fix that. Alright, there we go. Okay, chain 2, double crochet on top of the double crochet, chain 2, to continue all along the row. And I'll meet you at the end. So just remember this thing, seriously. Okay, so double crochet on top of the double crochet, chain 2, obviously skip the chain space, and double crochet on top of the double crochet. So continue all along, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, I've reached the end. Now we're going to do chain 2, and then double crochet on the 3rd chain, which is, or we can count chain 2 back. So 1, 2, and that's the 3rd one there. This is very annoying. Like, you know what? There we go. Okay, there we go, done. And repeat for these 12 rounds there. So up to here, which is 12 rounds of opened stitches of the mesh stitch. Okay, so obviously chain 5, 1, 2, 3, sorry, 4, 5, and double crochet on top of the double crochet. Now it's getting much easier to handle the yarn. Chain 2, okay, chain 2, okay, easy peasy. So do that according to your diagram. Obviously I'll put a diagram for each size. It's just much easier that way. And for me, the large size, I'm going to do up to 12 rows of open stitches, and then I'll meet you back when we start the filet crochet, the closed stitches. Okay, I'm nearly finishing off my 12th row. 1, 2, and that's the 3rd one. Okay, so we've done our 12th row. Now what we're going to do is start doing oh my god, I lost my speech. All right, So starting the filet crochet, right? The block, the closed square there. So what we're going to do is to count how many squares we need to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so 19 open squares, and then we'll do a closed square, which is 3 double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn. Okay, so I'm going to make 19 squares. Oh. Okay. So 19 open squares, which is the mesh looking squares. Now you just follow how many squares you need to do according to your diagram and size. Just keep in mind that the heart is going to be in the center of the top. Yeah, if you've noticed, I took off my nails so I can actually crochet properly, but I think I jinxed myself. Alright, there we go. Oh my, okay. What have we done? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm going to continue to make 19 squares, and I'll meet you back on the closed square there. So that's 17, 18, and 19. Okay. No. When you reach the 19, you don't do the chain 2. Alrighty. So now we're up to this square here. That is the closed square. So we already have, you know how it's 3 double crochets? It's normally like 4 double crochets because we already got 1 here, and you do 2 double crochets in the chain space. 1, 2. Spread it out, and 1 on the on the double crochet. So normally it's like 4 double crochets, but when you stop at that open square, that's when you count like 3 double crochets on top of that double crochet there. Hope that makes sense. Now we'll continue on with the next 19 open squares, and I'll meet you back on the 14th row. So what we're doing now is the 13th row. Okay, so I'll meet you back on the next row. Oh, just forgot to mention that once you do the end of a closed crochet square, obviously you do chain 2, and you continue off to the next square, next double crochet. So we've done 1 closed square like that. Okay, so just continue on with the open square. Alright, I'll continue on and I'll meet you back on the next row. Okay, so I finished the 19 squares. Chain 5 and turn. Now let's make sure how many squares we need for the open one. So we're up to row 14 there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, we need 18 open squares, and then we're off to do 3 squares of closed squares. So obviously that's 19. I should have just counted that way. So that's 19. So we stop the mesh stitch on this this square here, and then we do already have a double crochet there, 2 double crochets and a double crochet on top. That's 3 plus 1, 4. And then 3 double crochets on top of these, and then another 3 double crochets there. And then we'll continue off with the mesh. So I'll do those 18 squares. I'll do those 18 squares and I'll meet you there for the closed squares. Okay, we're reaching to the closed square. So according just to your number in the diagram, what you need to do is you've got to make these squares on top of these ones closed off. So you just stop at this square there, the open square, so you can make it look like a pyramid, right? So you don't chain 2, just continue. We've done 8 double crochet. Now 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space. It's 1, 2, and then close it off with on top of the other double crochet. It will stretch soon. And now 3 double crochets on top of these at the bottom square, which is the closed square, and on top of these 3 double crochets, and another closed square here. So 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space and a double crochet on top of the double crochet. Okay, so there we go. And now chain 2, and then continue on with your mesh open squares. Okay, so continue on, and I'll meet you back on the next round, which is round 15. Okay, so it's just like a pyramid. You actually stop your meshes on this side of the open squares, on top of the open squares, and make 3 double crochets and continue on double crocheting till you reach the open square there, and then continue on with the open squares. Anyway, I'll meet you back there and I'll show you how. Okay, so on the 15th row, I stopped before the next 5 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the closed squares. So obviously you can count from the bottom row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So all these squares and chains will be double crochets. Okay, so 2 double crochets in the chain space, because there's 2 chains, and continue on top of the double crochet. So all the double crochets will have 1 double crochet on top of them. And you can actually count them like 5 squares times 3, because 3 of double crochets, so it's 15. So you've got to have 15 and plus 1 more. This could be the 1 more double crochet, so it'll be like 16 in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 2 in the chain space, that's 15, and 1 more obviously here is 16 to finish it off, close it off. Yep. the double crochet at the end is the extra double crochet, so instead of 15 and 16, there we go, because we closed off this chain, this square there. All right, I hope that made sense. So 1, 3, and that's 5 squares. I'll continue off with the mesh, and we'll continue on using that pyramid structure where it's upside down, and just follow the number of squares, just times them by 3, the number of squares times 3, and just plus 1 at the end of it, as we did there. So just continue following on that, and you will have this. Oh, where is it? Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so continue off doing your closed squares and the opened squares. It's easy just to follow the diagram. So each square, closed square, is 3 double crochets. So once you do like 3 double crochets, for example, once you stop at this mesh here, count 3 double crochets, 1 2 3. Hope you can see that. And then another 1 2 3, another 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and another 1 2 3. Okay, so just 3 times the number of squares, you get that number of double crochets, and obviously you're going to add 1 more over there, and to make the open square, to continue opening the square. Okay, so I'm going to continue on making the open squares on top of this top here to match the bottom, and we're going to make 2 squares, 2 big squares. You can either make another heart, so we can do like a top, or you can make the back side as all mesh, all just open squares mesh. Okay, so normally that is usually done with a mesh. So I'm going to continue that, and then with your mesh stitches, just make another square. It's pretty easy. You can just follow the first part of the video about how I did those mesh stitches, and yeah, just make another full square according to your size, and we will sew in the end. So I'm going to continue this, and I'll meet you back. The heart, so once you reach about the top of the heart, it's the end there, we just continue on with the mesh, the open squares. So obviously it's double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, right, and double crochet. Yep. Chain 2, skip 2, and then double crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 2, and then double crochet in the next. So it's just continuing on. I hope you saw that one, did you? Yeah. So it's just continuing on, just double crochet, skip 2, and double crochet in the next. So continue on and do that for me it's 12 rows, because it has to be the same number of squares of rows here, the column, to the top of the heart, because the heart's going to be placed in the middle. So I'm going to do that, continue on, and then I'll meet you back, just continue with the border, because I feel like doing a single crochet just along the borders as well, and probably just take a ribbing, just a ribbing at the end as well. So yeah. Okay, so I'll continue on doing 12, and I'll meet you back for the borders. And for the back panel, I forgot to mention that I have already started it. It's just making a mesh, you know, a mesh looking back panel for the back, because the heart's going to be at the front and the mesh is going to be at the back, but you can alternate it however you like as well. So it's just using the same concept, same stitches of how we started with the start of the filet crochet of the front panel. It's just number of foundation chains, which is 120 I did, and then just and then I chained extra 8, so 3 4 5, yeah, I mean that chained 5, yep, and in the 8th chain from the hook, just go back to the front of the video and you can do that. So I inserted the hook in the 8th chain from the hook. Okay, and then started off with double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, sorry, double crochet, skip 2, chain 2, skip 2, yes. All right, and then just continue on with the same concept of the stitch, and I'm going to do that for my whole panel. For the back, it's going to be the same number of rows to the first panel, the front panel, and then obviously I'm going to do the border as well, and yeah, and then sew them in together. So I'll meet you all at the border section once I do the borders on the front panel, and the back panel I'll meet you there as well. Okay, so once I've reached the 12th row of the top of the at the heart here, so it's going to be, I count from the top of the heart, so the you know, starting from the bottom to top, the last row of the closed squares. So I count from the top, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So 12 is the same exact as the bottom here at the point of the hearts that we started at. Okay, so 12 and 12 should be the same, so the heart can be in the middle. Now what we're going to do is single crochet just along the edges, and since I stopped here, I'm going to start on the long edge of the top. So what we're going to do, I did chain 1. Now because here's 3 chains of the double crochet, we are going to add 3 single crochets along each square. Okay, oh, there we go. All right, so 1 2 and 3. So we won't do a single crochet on that horizontal line, so only in the squares, the edge of the square here. So 1 2 3, and continue on. 1 2 3, two, 3. Okay, so continue all along. Gives a nice edge, and it's easy to sew in the ends of the top with the other panel. So continue all the way down, and I'll meet you at the end here as well. So I'm going to continue that, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so we're reaching the last square down the bottom of the long edge, so I'm going to make 3 single crochets, 2 and 3. Now I'm going to make a curve, so we've got 2 here, and I'll make 1 more, so which is we made 3, so we'll add 1, which is 4, and now 2 more because it's chain 2 here. 1 2, so in total 6. 6 let me fix that one. It's going to be 6 single crochets. I pulled that too much. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Okay, so we made a nice little curve. So now we're at the bottom of the top. So so what I'm going to do is single crochet on that double crochet here, and now 2 single crochets at the 2 chains. So 1 2 single crochet at the double crochet, and then 2 single crochets at the chain 2 space. Okay, so another single crochet at the double crochet. Okay, so it gives a nice little edging. But what this edge is going to happen is that I'm going to make a ribbing at the edge here, about say 11 rows or 13, depends how wide I want it, and going back and forth until I reach this end here, so I don't have to cut the yarn and sew it back in. So it's about 11 or 13 rows I'm going to do. I'll see how much, but it gets me back to this edge of the long edge of the opposite side of the top, so I can continue on with the single crochets all the way to the top again, and then just continue on the top of the single crochets to this edge there that we've started. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing this part of the bottom of the top, and then what I'm going to do, I can meet you back here if you'd like, and then just continue single crocheting as making the ribbing. Okay, so I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I'm reaching at the end, but I'm going to tell you this, I actually changed my mind. I won't be doing contouring from here to do the ribbing. I'm just going to continue all along the edge of the top, the panel, and then later on I'll cut the yarn and then attach the yarn again and continue on with the ribbing. That's because coming back here wouldn't, I have to continue on doing either slip stitches to get back here, but it will create a thick edge. I wouldn't like that. So yeah, I won't be doing the ribbing from this point. So I'm just going to continue on with the edging of the panel along this long edge there. So because we're at the last square here, we're going to do another 6 single crochets. So this is 1, and then those 2 chains there. So 1, 2, and that 3 chain there. So total 6. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so remember at the edge here, at the long edge, this long edge of this panel, just remember that we won't be putting a single crochet on this horizontal line there. So we're just continuing three single crochets along the chains. Okay, oops, okay, there we go. So just 3 single crochets along the chains there. Okay, gives a nice beautiful edging, as you can see. It will straighten out once you block it. It will definitely straighten out. So I'm going to continue that, and then for the top of the panel, obviously there's 2 single crochets and a single crochet on top of the double crochet. So obviously make a 6 6 single crochets along the edge here, around all the edges we've done. I've already done 3 here. I'll be putting 1 at the end there as I get there. Okay, so yeah, 6 at the edge, single crochets, then 1 crochet on top of the double crochet, and then 2 single crochets at the 2 chain space. Okay, and then and then 1 single crochet at each double crochet. Okay, and I'll meet you all at the end here. Okay, so I'm reaching the end where we started, so just make sure there's like 6 single crochets along the edge, and we start off with this double crochet here, which is a 1 single crochet, and now 2 more because of the chain space. 1, 2, and then you slip stitch since we have made 3 single crochets here. So just slip stitch on the first single crochet. I'm trying to get that one. There we go. Just cut it and bring it through, tie in. There we go. We've made this one. Okay, so we've made the edge. Now just go at the bottom and attach your yarn. So 1, 2, third one. Okay, just attach the yarn. However you like. I am just twisting the yarn with my pinky finger here. Alrighty then. Okay, just chain 1. Okay, we're going to do just single crochets all along the edge here of the single crochets. So one single crochet in each of the single crochets. I'm gonna do I'll see how many rows, and I'll show you once I've been satisfied with the number of rows. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm also going to continue on with my second panel, which is the back panel. I'm just going to continue on with the mesh stitch and doing the same number of rows as the first panel, and continue along the edge as well. Just copy the edging and copy the ribbing as well at the bottom of your panel, of the second panel, the back panel. So I'll meet you all at the end after completed 2 panels, and then we'll sew them in together, and we might do some sleeves as well. Okay, my darlings, so I'll see you soon as soon as I finish this ribbing. Okay, my darlings, so we're up to the joining in the edges. So I've done this one side of it. So obviously I've aligned stitch with stitch and square by square, and obviously I will be doing the blocking because it does need the blocking, obviously. So I left about 26 and 26 squares, so in total 52. So I measured my circumference of the arm and divided it in half so I can count like one side of the squares and one side of the squares. But I times the whole circumference with 1.5 centimeters, right? Because this is the length, this is the size of one square. And times it by the circumference and then divide it by 2 so you can count the squares, how much you need to leave for your sleeves. And I left about 8 squares on the top of the shoulders. I sewed in 8 squares and on each side. So I just, when I put them together, I just count them as 1. So square, square, square. All right. So I like a nice big neckline for this one because I like it to have it drapey. So I'm going to do the next side of it too. So obviously put your stitch markers and the stitch markers here. So obviously this will be the 26th square here. So keep that open and just sew from all the way down here to the ribbing, the bottom parts of your top. Okay, what I did is I slip stitched all the way, yeah, and then tie in the ends and sew in the ends and slip stitch all the way there. So obviously start from the bottom here. I attach the yarn. So you can do however you like. Oh, if it goes in, there we go. Let me just put that in there. So this is why I did the edging on the side, because when you slip stitch it, it's actually really nice how it turns out. It is really like nice and neat, and once it's blocked, it just comes out straight and just nice edging at the sides there. So yeah, hang on, let me just get this. There we go. Oops, that's too all right, there we go. So just a nice edging. It's just, yeah, the slip stitching, and this is why it's easier to do with the edges like that. I'm thinking of for the next project, if I need to sew in the ends, I feel like I would need to not do the edging, but join the panels together and then sew in the ends, like slip stitching, without doing the edging. I'll try and do that. I'll experiment that on the next project. Okay, so attach your yarn to this side, to the next side, obviously with the same yarn. Now some people sew it with a needle. I tried that, it just didn't work out quite well with me. So I'm going to do slip stitches, and it just works really nice with it. Oh, where is it? Hang on a sec. Okay, so I got that one. Just tie it in. You can do it twice. Okay. Okay, just do a single, chain. And then in the next one, let's get this out the way. There we go. Just push it in there. And just slip stitch. And in the next one, oh, slip stitch. So it's like in those rows, once you do those rows, just follow those rows. And now I'm going to enter this is the end of the row of the hemline. Okay. Now it's much easier with the stitches that we've done, the single crochets. So into one single crochet and into the other one, and into the next one, and into the other one. It's just so much easier, and it's actually really nice for the edging. Obviously you can do it however you prefer. You can sew it in with a needle, doing the mattress stitch, which is invisible. I tried to do that, but it just didn't work out well. So that's why I'm doing this slip stitching all the way. Look, it's just beautiful. It's just nice and neat, as you can see here. It's just nice and neat, which is I like. Okay, so I'm going to do that and just stop on this square, not this one, this one, and then keep the opening and just continue sewing. Attach the yarn again and just sew on the shoulder part there, and then we'll do the sleeves. You can leave it sleeveless, it's nice as sleeveless, but I feel like doing a full-on sleeve with a mesh stitch like that. So I'll continue on doing that and the top part, and I'll meet you for the sleeve. Okay, so I've done this side of the sleeve. All I did was attach the yarn and continue on making the mesh stitch. So I'll be doing that on the other side. Okay, so just attach your yarn at the corner of the bottom of the sleeve. So at the bottom of the sleeve here at the corner. Okay, it's easier because you'll be making those slip stitches and and the hemline. Okay, so attach your yarn however you like. Just getting some more yarn here. Okay, just chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously. Double crochet and chain 2. So we're moving on, we're skipping this one, and 1, 2, and then double crochet in the third one, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and then chain in the third, double crochet in the third. Okay, chain 2, skip 2, 1, 2, double crochet in the next one, chain 2, so 1, 2, and then double crochet in the next one, and then in the third. So skip 2 and double crochet in the third. So skip 2, double crochet in the third. Okay, so easy peasy. 1, 2, okay, do that all the way around. That's why these stitches just easy to make and like for easy guidance as well. So continue all along, and see how they are aligned with the other double crochets of the mesh stitch as well. So this is easy guidance as well for you if you'd like to follow that. And yeah, I'll meet you back at where we started. Okay, where you've managed to reach the shoulder edge here, what you can do is just skip that part, skip this one, and just continue on with the next stitch there. That's visible. Yeah, yeah, and just continue on. So 1, 2, it keeps it aligned as well with those columns. Okay, so I'm going to continue on and I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so we've reached close to the end here. There we go. And we slip stitch in the third chain of the starting chain, or you can count back 1, 2, and then that's 3 there, because the 2 is the chain 2 space. Okay, that was visible on the camera. Okay, so in the third chain of the starting chain, we do a slip stitch. Now you do chain 5, 1, 2, 3, that's a double crochet, and chain 2, 1, 2, that's the chain 2 space. So that's why it's chain 5. And then you just double crochet on top of the double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet on the double crochet. Okay, so I did 21 rows. I did 21 rows. For this, you can go longer, you can go shorter. The thing about this is it's your creativity as well. So it's you can decide how long you want your sleeve. And once I reach 21 rows, so I'll just count the squares. You know, just the squares, just easy to count. I did single crochets as the hemline. Just do single crochets all around as we did for the bottom part of the top. I did 6 rows. You can do more, you can do less. It's however you like, my darlings. So yeah, just do that, and then you block it and you can wear it. All right, so I'm going to continue that, and I won't show you the hemline because it's the same as the bottom part we did here. It's exactly the same thing. So yeah, we can do that to the sleeve. I did 21 rows for the squares of the sleeves, the mesh. You can do less or more, as I said before. So I'm going to continue on doing this, and I'll be blocking it, and then I'll show you the end pictures as well.